It is October 11th already, 2022. It's 9:30, and we will start with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Let the record show that all three commissioners are present. Commissioner Smith, Commissioner Price, Commissioner Stone. Anybody from the public to be recognized? Doesn't appear to be, but.
Doesn't look like it.
All right. Take a review of the bills.
We paid those bills. They presented and approved.
I will second that.
It's been properly moved and seconded to pay the bills as they have been properly presented and approved. Commissioner Price?
Yes.
Commissioner Smith?
Yes.
Yes. Next up, we have our assessor's office with a tax correction list. Good morning, Connie.
Good morning. Just have one taxpayer error who filed in on and paid in on and lived in on, but it filed also in Preston. $75.78.
All right, thank you.
At this time, I move that we approve the tax correction list as been presented by the assessor.
Second.
Been properly moved and seconded to approve the tax correction list as it has been presented by the assessor. Commissioner Smith?
Yes.
Commissioner Price?
Yes.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you.
No revision thing.
There was a revision sheet.
It's not until Connie gets up.
I sent you an email.
Well, you've got,
But there was a sheet that was in.
No,
there.
we always sign one.
There it is.
We don't always sign one. We sign one.
That's
all right. We sign one when we have.
An external.
It got reshuffled under the
Okay.
stuff over here, so we do have it. All right. Let's go ahead with our 9:31 appointment. We have Joe LaRue, our facilities manager.
Good morning, Commissioners.
Good morning.
Good morning, everybody. I would like to give a maintenance update for this week. First off, the McGrew House, the new furnace installation is going along really good. It was very interesting getting the old furnaces out. We was able to open a door up that was permanently closed to get them in and out of the basement. And we got the old ones out, and we got the new ones in, we got the new ones assembled and ready to be hung. And so we will be operational probably this week. So things are moving along very nicely at the McGrew House. At the animal shelter, there were just a few small things this week. We have a situation where the staff runs out of hot water really quickly cleaning the dog cage. We will try and get that straightened out really quickly. And of course, all the normal maintenance stuff, we had a drain clogged up. And in the outside dog kennel, it's brought to my attention that some of the grates are missing on the floor box drains. So we'll very quickly get the grates located and put back on and back to where they function properly and normally. So we'll get the animal shelter situation straightened out this week really quickly. At the courthouse, we had a situation where the folks come to do preventive maintenance and they left the pump that pumps the hot water to all the heaters in the courthouse off. So we have many calls this morning about no heat, but of course Mark he comes early and he quickly saw it, quickly got it on the right track. So there's no big deal there other than we get the visit with all the folks that don't have no heat. So that is going along. We have to keep in mind at the courthouse that we will start very soon on the courthouse security upgrades. That will start, of course, at the start of bad weather, probably in the first or middle of November. And we have lots of projects in the basement of the courthouse, not only in November, but probably December, January, and February. So we'll keep that as upcoming, and we're doing the final preparations to make sure we have everything we need when we start the upgrades in the basement of the courthouse. On the sheriff's office, it was brought to our attention with last week or so that there was lots of fire extinguishers that were out of date on the inspection. But the very nice folks at the fire extinguisher FVP we have a contract with them, and they came and they are actually doing it right now. And of course, Danny's with them. And there was lots of fire extinguishers that they're gonna get everything back up to date. And from me going around to all the buildings, I think that was the only one that has slipped through the cracks for some crazy reasons. You know, we have lots of buildings and lots of
Cause I've
departments.
seen them, I've seen the inspectors come like every
Yeah.
6 months like they're supposed to and check the fire extinguishers.
Right, and they have a routine, you know, like you're saying, sir, different buildings, different times. How it happened, we don't know, but the main thing is Mo and Jay Sowers brought their attention, and it is fixed right now. It's already probably fixed. So the sheriff's office, they will be back on track. At the annex building last week, Commissioner Smith was here, and we had a bad sewer smell issue, and we thought we had it straightened out. It's in the upstairs across from the commission office. But sure enough, today it reoccurred again this morning very quickly. We got it straightened out quickly, but we will definitely investigate further today about that.
Yeah,
So
I saw
we-
the doors were open again.
Yeah, so it's definitely, you know, we thought that it was a dried out trap, and it was very possible today. I believe it was a toilet. The flush valve was not operating properly and did not have enough water in it to keep the sewer gas back. But we will make sure, 100% sure, that it's fixed and fixed right. So, other than here in a little while, when we open the bid for the sheriff's office road, that is all I have for the commissioners.
Did you all check on the green lights and stuff for along 7 there for that week?
I'm so happy that you brought that up. We are ready to go with that. We just want to know what the commissioners want illuminated. Just the memorial, the statue, or part of the courthouse, or what would you recommend?
I thought that if we just do along 7, you know what I mean, the memorial in the front of the courthouse, because that's where most of the visibility is gonna be. And that'd be easier on them, and having talked to Joe, he seemed to think that was like, it would be an easy thing to do, so.
So just eliminate the statue? Okay. And then if anything else.
Along the court, yeah, right on the court.
And so, as I had shared, the commissioners has told me from the start that they want the courthouse and all the buildings to look very nice. And I've been going around this
You've done an
summer and
excellent
mostly
job.
this fall and trying to get all the memorials and all the signs. And I did miss the sign out front, and Kevin Stiles at the city had brought it to my attention, and now it is looking great again. So,
Did that plexiglass clean up?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
It cleaned up really nice, and I've thought about that for years, how it
Yeah.
cleaned up, and it cleaned up really
But
nice.
But we
The mulching, you guys did a good job on the mulching, did a good job on the cleaning, it's really.
So as all the commissioners want everything to look nice, Commissioner Price has mentioned many times, it's the people's place. And we want it to look very nice for all the people. You know, so that is, of course, that is our mission, and that's what we want to accomplish. I think we're quickly getting things looking very nice.
It is. We thank you.
So thank you very much, and we'll be back in contact in just a little bit.
All right, thank you. All right, we will move along with our 9:35. We have a budget revision, Lonnie. Do we have any other budget revisions? Okay.
Okay, this is an internal budget revision. Would like to take $2,000 from the 103 salary account, and that is in excess there because of the vacancies that we've had this year. And put it into extra help to continue with Dolores helping us. So I'd like to just kind of bring it to your attention that we're struggling with the new system. And then the whole state is struggling with the new system and entering data. It is difficult and it is not working properly. So there are some issues with actually getting data entered. And so I think Dolores would be able to help with this. She's working with businesses and the homeowners at this point.
Okay.
So tax department, is that,
That is the new IS world that we implemented. That.
And it was the statewide.
It is a statewide system. And it is very obvious on everyone's part of the deficiencies in that system.
What are other assessors around you saying about it?
Everybody's complaining. We have gone back to both Tyler Technologies and to the state tax department multiple times. People are pretty irate, and assessors are pretty upset.
Are they responding to the cries for?
They are. The mineral system has never been set up. It's not working at all. They didn't have it developed. We were supposed to do a training this week on that. But anytime we try to do something, there's something that doesn't work. Something that is, we have a ticket on that, and that's what they do. They enter a ticket on it, but everything was on the back burner because of developing this minerals data entry. And so there really has not been a lot of progress, I guess, seeing progress. The governor is aware. The assessors would like to, for the association to send a letter, and that has not been done yet. But I know at this point, we have a lot of combined accounts, and I don't know if you understand what those are in our county, where you have like little lots, and they don't want 15 different tax bills, and at one point in time, we combine them together. Now, our system doesn't handle that very well, never has since the IS4, so we don't do them very much, but we did not get rid of the ones that we had, and so that is only being valued as one lot at this point in time. The other combines are not valued.
Right.
So it's affecting our values, it's affecting our data entry, it's affecting a lot of things. So
Is there anything that we're gonna have to do to prepare for that? In other words, we have our tax times and our, both the fall now and spring falls beyond, but when we get together and people have an issue, or is this gonna cause an issue that it's gonna cause us to have to look at a lot of them?
For board equalization?
Yeah, for board equalization.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to figure out where he was going with that.
no, I don't think so. The problem exists in the fact that the data just may not be entered or entered correctly in the right manner. So we're working hard. We have been bombarded with public. So, but anyway, just so you're aware.
All right,
Thank you.
thank you.
Thanks.
All right, we will go ahead with some general business moving along till we get to 10 a.m. for our bid opening. We have no minutes to approve. We do have some estate settlements.
We have two, Mersing and Thomas. I move we approve those from the clerk.
I'll second that.
It's been properly moved and seconded to approve the list, the estate settlement list, September 26th through September 29th, 2022 from Mersing and Thomas. Commissioner Price?
Yes.
Commissioner Smith?
Yes.
Yes.
At this time, I'd like to make a motion that we dispense with the reading of the proceedings of vacation and accept them to the record for September 29th through October 5th.
Second.
It's been properly moved and seconded to dispense with the readings of the proceedings and vacation and enter them into record for September 29th through October 5th, 2022. Commissioner Smith?
Yes.
Commissioner Price?
Yes.
Yes. Nothing from the fiduciary commissioner. Brings us to our old business. We have CARES funding.
I have nothing in general for CARES. It was requested to provide an update of the CARES balance, so you have that sheet.
Okay.
All right.
So-
Go ahead.
Oh, I just
Oh, you're
want to make
skipping
sure.
over? Okay.
I just want to make sure we're I'm tracking this right. So, okay, so the funding, we still have $263,609 remaining.
Correct.
That's short of those earmarks, the stuff we're just pending.
That is taking everything into
Okay.
consideration that has been voted.
Yes, gotcha. All right, cool, thank you.
All right. Brings us next to ARPA. Anything for ARPA?
We have,
Did we get I know we had these certain things on here, these 4 items on it for discussion and stuff. Did we get the necessary information?
for the city of Kingwood,
Okay,
for the Civic Center roof replacement,
okay,
we believe that we have adequate information
okay,
to move ahead with that one.
okay,
Care to, and that is in the amount of $91,400
okay.
for the roof replacement or ceiling replacement.
Ceiling replacement, yeah.
Apologize. So, they would like to be, up and running with that, where they're hoping for a 1-year project time on that, so that by the beginning of September 2023, everything should be in place so that they can have a new ceiling in time for the festival.
And we're still just waiting on the Preston County PSD, the sewer project stuff. What are we waiting from them? I know that looked like a big issue because of their environmental compliance and stuff.
Preston County Sewer PSD, both of those will be ready to go,
Okay,
as well as the grinder pumps.
Okay.
Any of those are eligible
okay,
as far as we're concerned.
okay.
No, what do you mean, ready to go?
We can
In other
vote
words,
on
they
it.
can be approved now.
Oh, we can't vote
Yes.
on that. Okay, that. Thank you. That was the question. I just didn't phrase it correctly.
Yes, those 4 have met the preliminary
All right.
conditions.
Okay. Then you guys want to vote on today?
City of Kingwood is ready.
Yeah,
I
let's do
think
it.
that's a good project.
Mhm. Both their projects are ready, right? City of Kingwood, or just the one? We know the
The
ceiling
ceiling.
one. We'll just do the ceiling one to begin with, so. And then we'll talk about the others then. All right, at this time, I move to award ARPA funding to the City of Kingwood for the purpose of repairing the Civic Center ceiling in amounts of $91,400. And this award is contingent upon the City of Kingwood meeting all the requirements set forth by the commission to receive the funding.
Been properly moved and seconded to move forward with the American Rescue Plan funding in the amount of $91,400 to the City of Kingwood for the Civic Center ceiling repair. Upgrade is contingent upon the City of Kingwood meeting all the requirements set forth by the commission to receive the funding. Any more discussion? Commissioner Smith?
Yes.
Commissioner Price?
Yes.
Yes.
Do we want to move forward on any of the other 3 items?
Is there any additional discussion? Is everything ready on them?
Yes, actually, the PSD 2 requests have been ready to go
Okay.
from the beginning.
Well, then let's go ahead and move forward, and that way they can get this going, because I know the one thing in particular, the bigger amount, if I remember correctly, that was dealing with their, that DEP issue with the EPA,
The
or
metals.
the metals.
Yes.
Yeah. Mhm. So, all right, this time I move that we award American Rescue Plan Act funding to PSD sewer, the Preston County Sewer PSD for their sanitary sewer improvements in the amount of $500,000. This award is contingent upon the Preston County Sewer PSD meeting all the requirements set forth by the commission to receive funding.
Second.
It's been properly moved and seconded to go ahead and award $500,000 to Preston County Sewer PSD for sanitary sewer improvements. This award is contingent upon the Preston County Sewer PSD meeting all the requirements set forth by the commission to receive the funding. Commissioner Smith?
Yes.
Commissioner Price?
Yes.
Yes.
All right.
We're just gonna continue.
Yeah, we'll just keep doing that and get those knocked out, then that way they can move forward. All right, this time I move that we award American Rescue Plan Act funding to the Preston County Sewer PSD for Hazelwood WWTP
Hazelton.
sorry. Upgrades in the amount of $150,000. This award is contingent upon the PSD meeting all the requirements set forth by the commissioner receiving funding.
Second.
It's been properly moved and seconded to award American Rescue Plan Act funding to Preston County Sewer PSD Hazelton WWTP upgrades in the amount of $150,000. This award is contingent upon Preston County Sewer PSD meeting all requirements set forth by the commission to receive the funding. Commissioner Smith?
Yes.
Commissioner Price?
Yes.
Yes.
At this time, I move to award American Rescue Plan Act funding to the city of Kingwood for sanitary sewer grinder pump improvements in the amount of $150,000. This award is contingent upon the city of Kingwood meeting all requirements set forth by the commission to receive said funding.
Second.
It's been properly moved and seconded to move forward with the American Rescue Plan Act funding to the city of Kingwood for the sanitary sewer grinder pump upgrade in the amount of $150,000. The award is contingent upon the city of Kingwood meeting all the requirements set forth by the commission to receive the funding. Any additional discussion? Commissioner Smith?
Yes.
Commissioner Price?
Yes.
Yes.
So that's a total of $891,400.
Yep, 891.
And that will leave you with a balance in the ARPA fund of $824,184.
All right, thank you. These additional requests that we're waiting some information on for the Denver Water Association. They have a request in yet for the booster pump station replacement upgrade. Town of Brewston Mills and Preston County OEM with our radio. Has he gotten any more information on that, Justin?
He's, I talked to him, he's still waiting on one quote, we should have it any time now, so.
All right, yeah, since he does it, then we can move forward.
Yeah, because that, to me, that's an internal need.
Yeah.
Well, that's a big priority.
Oh, well, like I said, those radios, I bought them when I first started, they're well, and in fact, they're not serviceable anymore, so.
Yeah, that's what they said. I remember him saying that, yeah, so it's pretty much, it's gotta be upgraded, so now's the time to do it and get it moving.
I think we're unified in getting it done when we have.
Well, and it's easier to do it, I mean, if you've seen the system, you'd more understand why we wanted to do it all one time. Because before we had to do it, as we had money, we'd buy this radio and that radio. Well, then all that's gotta be hooked together, well, technology, as fast as it's running.
Well, and the problem with that is if you buy something today, you buy this
Right.
piece today, by the time you get around to buying the second piece, now it doesn't match up with the first piece.
Exactly.
So now you're jerry-rigging stuff together, and by the time you get the third piece, now you don't meet the other two pieces. So yeah, I understand
Yeah,
that completely.
I would venture to say we will have that information. I'll make a couple phone calls if I have to. and
Okay,
Okay.
We'll have it next week.
okay, that'd be great.
What about, any funding that has been set aside to get to that point before the ARPA came? Have you guys been financially planning to replace those or?
Not so much those as just, there's maintenance that the state has been paying that we're gonna be coming on. That's kind of the money we were looking at for that, but now has been, since they're not gonna be paying anymore because there's no funding for the siren system itself.
Okay,
So that kind of falls on us. And what's gonna fall on us is the upgrades of the consoles and stuff like that that they had previously paid for. And, we've got our voice recorder. It's just, everything came together. We bought it all one time, and that's the disadvantage of it.
What's the deal with the state?
Well, you have to go back when that system started. There are a lot of people
That's why I was
were
asking. 'Cause,
said to be against it, such as us, but it wasn't that we were against the system, it was against, you got the cart in front of the horse, you need a funding system so this can go into the future, and still yet today, there's no funding system.
And you had said years ago, when this was done, and we were working together on those things, that we're gonna end up with that on our shoulders.
Like, we already pay the propane bills and all that, the maintenance on the generators. I mean, we're already paying some, but the maintenance on the consoles are very expensive, so, and like I said, that's probably what eat up, you know, we could buy, but not with throwing that in this, so.
When replacing these, what kind of longevity are we getting out of it? 20 years?
I think that's what Justin said.
Oh, yeah, I mean, the one we have in there is 20 years,
That's
and,
what I thought.
Yeah, that's what I'm.
yeah, I mean, typically the radios we would buy now, they would honor the, or, you know, warranty them.
Right.
We were able to work on them through that time frame. Yeah.
Be good now to set something up for the next time.
That's what I mean, you know, we don't certainly want to have to go through another pandemic to get additional
Well,
funding assistance.
Yeah, I agree with you. I mean,
It's one of these things.
start about 10 years out, start planning and then start setting some money
Put a
aside.
little bit apart, you know,
Yeah,
each year
exactly.
This
to
was
pay for it in
something-
case there's no money that
Right.
comes down from the HUD.
Well, I mean, you're right. We need to do that, but prior to this, there wasn't anything to say. Like when I worked at Mountain State, radios we bought ran for 30 years.
Right.
You know, and these are capable of, but they just quit.
Well, there's no part, I mean, well, you know, crap, let's be realistic. I mean,
So-
I've got a vehicle that's probably capable of running for 40 years, but trying to find parts for it after 30.
All right. That's where you get into it, but, well, and the technology did an update, it's going so, I mean, there are radios that work off the, you know, phone system, and,
Oh,
I
yeah.
mean, it's grown, the last few years is just blown out of the
Oh,
water.
yeah.
The leaps and bounds they've moved forward with it, but, you know, a lot of these are very expensive systems to get on.
Oh, yeah.
But not that we're playing, you know, that, but the state systems where we want to be, we've got Garrett County, and we've got, friends to the north, Pennsylvania, that have different systems, and we do have a AFG grant in, waiting to hear on to get the fire departments up, so that we would be 100%, have the 100% ability to operate in that siren system. Right now, we've got the legacy system we're asking you to replace is their primary frequency.
You can patch things together.
Right, you know, always, what it's gonna be once, if they get that award, that will, the legacy system will be our backup. I mean, you gotta have a backup, because when the state goes down, you gotta have a backup, so that's, some people don't, and some people got in trouble. When it goes down, they just can't operate, so. That's where we wanna be.
All right,
Thanks.
thank you.
Yep.
All right, 2 minutes to our bid opening. Is there anything else we can go ahead and take care of in 2 minutes, or?
I don't have, on this consideration or action on the EMS thing, still reading, I kind of got a favorite ordinance, but then there's a lot of pieces from others that I want to.
Well, I will make a comment on that, because I did read the minutes from the EMS meeting that happened last week. And I kind of, they still are in support of just doing a percentage-based call thing. And I think it probably makes the most sense overall, because, you know, I knew what you wanted to do with the paying by the locations and sectors, but I just don't know if that, even they didn't seem to agree with that, because they seemed like they wanted to do it by percentages, because they're going and helping one another out into different zones. I think is the biggest thing.
Something could be worked with that, but that's maybe on the rules and regulations after the ordinance, maybe, and it would be a part of it.
And that it is, it's two
Yeah.
separate things that we're dealing with. We gotta figure out how much money needs collected, and then we've gotta look at, you know, how we're gonna put it forward. I mean, and I'll just continue to go back to this, even though Union is small, they still have the cost of the big ticket items. So giving them $900
Oh, no, and we're reading
Makes
the
no
minutes.
sense,
Yeah,
right.
reading their minutes, they said that there should be a ground floor
Sure,
for them. So, I mean, I think,
And
you
right
know,
now, we're at
they
what,
should get a
3,000?
minimum, that way they can keep their they can cover some of their costs, so they are available to go
Right.
out and run
Right,
things.
and I think the ground is
So,
3,000, but
yeah,
still, and the amount that they have to spend on those items
Well,
is
yeah.
so expensive. $3,000 is still a slap in the face.
Yeah, but that's 4 times. If
That's
we
for,
set it
well,
up
if you do it by the
quarterly, then-
percentage, it's 3
then
times
that's,
more than what they would have got.
And they're not paying any payroll.
Exactly.
Currently, but,
Oh,
you
they-
know,
if
we've
they
heard
do
the
that.
meetings
But that
that I have.
changes, like I said, that changed everything, because if you look at the percentages each quarter, it's changed, things change each quarter, that's why it needs to be done, because if you have one particular service, it's all of a sudden picking up more of the calls, well, they obviously should get more reimbursement because of it. So-
We can pick back up here on the EMS discussion. We need to go ahead with our bid opening for the sheriff's department roof. Joe,
We are pleased to announce with our competitive bidding process was followed completely. And I will verify that they had their bid in and it was stamped by the commission time clock at that point. And if this,
Just have one bid then,
yes,
One
yes.
bid.
only one bid.
Veritas Contracting.
all right,
um,
we've used them before, yeah.
They were actually the only company to show up for the mandatory pre-bid meetings, so
October 17th.
thankful that they were.
That doesn't surprise me either, they're pretty proactive with that stuff.
So as
They may have a little gap that they can work with, whereas maybe the others have
I think that's exactly what
obligated themselves.
It's interesting that the others stayed with us all summer, what's going on, until it comes time to bid.
Well, and there again,
So
it's.
they would, next time they may be, but I bet they're covered up right now.
I agree. So, it's the situation, getting done before winter.
Very costly.
So we're good to open.
But as we all want, the main thing is all the rules was followed, they all could have bid,
Right.
the
They chose not to this time. I bet the next time they'll be back.
All right, the bid for Veritas, the base bid is $73,735. Indicate the number, the calendar days to complete the work as described. The completion date must by on or before November 30th of 2022. Construction start date will be October 17th, allotting 45 calendar days.
that's the projected.
Yes. If there's anything else in here that I need to.
But the 30th is not debatable.
Right.
The end date is not debatable.
Mhm.
Copy of their liability insurance as required.
I think a lot of contractors struggle with the $1 million in liability, but the commission cannot take that risk, so,
No,
you know.
that's all. Okay, and then just one other price on here that is listed is in the event of, additional sheeting needing to be required at $640 per sheet or $20 per square foot. per
Right,
sheet.
and that's a given because they don't know until they get the.
Till they get
off of
into it, right?
Yep.
All right, so this is the only one we have, and so I guess this is what we'll go with, unless,
And since they start 17th, it needs to be approved and.
I mean,
Yeah, I do. Well, here's the thing, a lot of times we will have them review it.
I know.
And then approve it.
exactly,
And,
that is a very good point. You all do not have to vote today.
we don't.
they're still gonna start the 17th.
Right.
They know they're the only one.
Yeah,
That means they're
I agree
competitive, so they can-
100%. If you all want to consider it, you have it's your right.
It's not considered so much, but.
If I may, we have our advisor in the office this morning, and so she would be able to give her considered opinion on the bid. So perhaps Mr. LaRue could take it up.
Yeah, we can just take it up here real quick.
We'll be here for just a little bit.
It's a
I really
recommendation.
don't think it should be an issue.
And obviously, we were hoping that it would be nearer to the $50,000 mark. And obviously, it's a considerable.
Well, I can understand with them
Materials.
bidding, material costs have went up, it's hard for them to get the labor too, so they're gonna bid what they're gonna bid, you know?
And as the commission knows, that part of the sheriff's office is the hardest part of all the dormers, valleys, chimneys,
There's a
everything.
lot of work,
Yeah, that
there's
is.
a lot of extra work, it's not just a straight up roof.
Exactly. To where in the future, the jailhouse part's all flat.
Pretty good.
Thank you very much.
It's, we can prove that for you.
If you wanna take it up to do that now,
And I'll, yes, ma'am. I'll
and
be
if
right
she
back.
needs to come back down, that's fine too.
I don't think, I'll be honest, I think we'll be good, because they bid on enough projects in the past, they should be.
All right, back to the EMS ordinance discussion.
Just that I've talked, by computer to the assessor, in the last couple of days, and, they're, as you heard, they're just covered up with the difficulties with the system. So they don't have a lot of time to lend to questions that I would have, but I gave you a sample of the kind of things that we're gonna look at, and I would like to talk to Matt, or us to talk to Matt with those questions as well, because he's probably been there before.
That's
And-
true.
And so
That is true.
one of the things that you said that it would be easy to be able to document and use the homestead exemption
Yes.
people. So if somebody has a homestead exemption, we can give them a little discount if we choose to do that. But questions about how many apartments are in a building.
Could you see those questions you asked her to?
That would have
to
Ask
be
the same
examined.
question over again.
You know, apartment buildings would have to be examined on just
Physically.
one basis,
Right.
physically, you know, going through page by page.
So that was the other thing that I was asking. And then the ownership of some of those that are, in some of the ordinances, there is a conversation about government housing. For example, one of the things like Green Acres or Alpine, or the one out here on west of Kingwood, who owns those?
Well, they're owned by different people.
They're owned by a corporation
They're
of
owned by
some sort.
yes.
So they're private enterprises?
Yes.
Okay, so they're not government-owned housing.
They're
Some of
government
them are.
subsidized,
They're, yes.
but that's different.
Mhm.
I would think that it is.
They're
Okay.
Section 8 housing mostly.
Right.
Yeah.
They're not owned by a government
No.
organization.
No.
We tax those,
We
Right,
tax,
that's
correct.
like anybody else that has an apartment.
Right.
Okay,
The only thing we don't tax is something that's totally in my head, or, you know, somebody that is definitely a government organization.
are there any buildings that house apartments in the county that are HUD?
There used to be one in Terrata, I'm not sure, that one, I don't know. I would have to do some investigation.
Okay. Well, that was the main question
Okay.
that I had asked her since I replied to something she sent us.
Okay. We can check and see, what we have under HUD. That should be an easy, inquiry. But the inquiry about apartment buildings and how many apartments they have in each section, I don't know if that's something that Matt can retrieve.
Well,
Or-
yeah,
For us, we would have to look at that.
Have to physically look at each
physically,
one of them.
yeah.
well, but you would know where apartment buildings are. Because they're,
We might be able to do a report, depending upon the system and whether that works or not, I don't know.
that would help.
Yes,
Then you know where we're going to look at them. But, okay, well, I appreciate your help. If
Okay.
there's any of those things that
okay,
the light comes on and says, hey, we could do this and get that answer, then I'd appreciate it while we're trying to work on it.
okay.
Thank you.
Sure.
All right, anything else for EMS? ordinance discussion?
No, good meeting the other night.
It was a good meeting,
Thank you for being there, or wherever you were.
virtually.
Yeah.
All right, it was really it's a tight meeting, 4:30 is the meeting time for that, and I just couldn't get from one place to the next in time for it, so you can call in, Zoom on in.
That's good.
I do not like attending meetings that way, but I really wanted to be there, so
Well,
I had to do it, so that's what I did. All right, moving on with our county coordinators report. Dwayne, we went to Hampshire County, that's where we went, wasn't it? That's what I thought. I really liked, when, it was probably, what, almost 2 years ago now? Went to Hampshire County just to review what they were doing.
doing very well.
Yeah, Hampshire County has a pretty good model, when you look at what they've got going on
Oh,
for the EMS. yeah.
yeah, well, there's things like we intend to do businesses and they don't, but, you know, there's differences that, I think all of them need some, I don't think we are 100% into any one of them.
No,
I think
no.
that,
Okay, I'd like to change up the order just a little bit so we can get Dwayne moving on
Okay.
this, and we can get the budget revisions out of the way. We received one that was too late to get it onto the regular agenda, so officially I'm presenting it, but this is from Mr. Hamilton's office. We have two of those. They received checks from West Virginia Court for claims on damage to two vehicles. So we can get those checks deposited, get the revision made, and have that fund ready to go to get the two vehicles repaired.
is that in the garage thing?
Yeah, it began to the 21705, which is a special account for damaged vehicles. We put it in there and then expended it out of there. And to repair them was car 26, both new Tahoes.
The new Tahoes, huh?
Mhm. One hit a deer, the other one was involved in a little bit of an altercation with another vehicle. So they both were about, they almost exactly same amount of money, it was $8,000 some dollars. 9,000, time to figure our deductible, but, you know, we're trying to get these run through, processed and out the door because parts are just horrible to try to find. So we ran through the insurance company, they did a good job giving that. We have the checks now, we just need to get the money in there.
Bristol's good.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, so I have two revisions, one in the amount of $8,188, and the second for $8,753.
No change on either of those.
No.
And of course, we have the budget revisions from Connie's office.
Okay, at this time, I move that we approve all the budget revisions as they have been presented to us this morning.
Second.
It's been properly moved and seconded to approve the budget revisions as presented this morning. Commissioner, or is there any more discussion about these? Are we good on the vehicles? Okay,
Yes.
all right. We're very good.
Oh, good.
All right, you good? All right. Commissioner Smith,
Yes.
Commissioner Price?
Yes.
Yes.
We have just an update. Dave Delars, excuse me, is completely finished. And as soon as the bumper on the front of it, the bumper guard is here, then it's ready to go into service.
That's the Econoline,
No, that's the Traverse he got.
the
He
Traverse.
used to have that other thing, but
Oh, okay, yeah.
we barely got it out the door back into somebody else's hands before there was some issue with it.
I love the county garage.
Uh,
I like the county garage. Your,
oh,
Central
uh,
Central Garage?
Yeah.
I just think that that's just really, there's one place for all the vehicles and all the money that comes out.
Well, it's, you know, it's working, it's a lot of work. I mean, you take all the invoices, but some of them I do very quick process. Like the Scott Fords, you know, they have to go through Bobby and then back to me. It takes a little while, but it's still by far way easier. Everything, any reports you guys may want in the future as far as mileage or vehicle costs per year or anything like that, we should be able to hit a button, crank her out. So we're over a year using Fleetio now. You know, the wax cards are working out good. Processing them, what used to take at least Melissa and took her 3 days. We're shoving those out in 45 minutes now.
Okay, that brings me to a question I thought about during the week as I filled up my tank. We allocated some extra money for fuel based on how it was when we did the budget. And now it's even worse.
Well,
How's that?
remember, we said that there would be money contingencies if we got to that point, but, you know, we're not to where we really need to say,
So far,
I
so
won't do it again next year. We'll make sure it's in there. Got to cover it, but, that was our first year with that budget. And, you know, I thought things would roll out a little different than they did, but they didn't, so.
And tires, that was something.
Tires, I've already got all the tires in there, shutting down the garage for next year, for this winter coming, so. They were some more, actually some a little less, so it probably should average down there, right? I don't figure it would be either, but some of them were close to what we paid last full year, and some of them were under.
Okay, that's all. We're still waiting for Joe anyway. So.
all right. We can move on.
All right, so recently I let you know that we did receive the money for the courthouse security grant. And now we've received the paperwork to go with it. So on that, there's a resolution that is required that would then permit Ms. Stone to fill out and do her signatures on the workplace requirements, the contract itself.
Read this?
So yes, it
All right, the Commission of Preston County met on October 11th with a quorum present and passed the following resolution. Be it resolved that the Commission hereby authorizes Samantha Stone, President of the Preston County Commission, to act on its behalf to enter into a contractual agreement with the Division of Administrative Services, Justice, and Community Services to receive and administer grant funds pursuant to provisions of the Court Security Grant Program. I move that we pass this.
Second.
It's been properly moved and seconded to, yes, I'm looking here, so this is for me to sign.
That's not for you.
No, you don't sign it.
The
No,
clerk
Don't sign
does.
it. Yeah, we just have to
I was
pass it.
just making sure.
You'll sign that stuff, I'm
Yes.
sure.
Yes. To enter into the resolution for the courthouse securities grant. Commissioner Smith,
Yes.
Commissioner Price?
Yes.
Yes,
So this is.
and this is back for you, for Linda's signature.
Yeah.
Lots of places to sign.
It's all the tabs on, I need to sign.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of things we would not be able to keep up with if we did not have those.
And as a reminder, this is to rearrange the front interior of family court, switch the entrances, some ballistic material, and we want to rotate the security desk.
Right.
So with this, Mr. LaRue will be able to get this into the fall/winter projects fairly quickly.
Speaking of the courthouse, so, and this is just a question, when we, were honoring the fallen Marine, we had to
Yes.
seek approval from the governor's office to lower our flag on the courthouse lawn. Is
Yes.
it the same for lighting things, changing our color to green? I just want to make sure we're not stepping outside of what we are.
I wouldn't think so.
I do not believe so because it is a temporary alteration to our property. The governor has to have the authority on the flags.
Right.
So.
Okay.
Yeah.
So,
I
as long
don't
as-
remember seeing anything about that in that big email.
I don't either.
There's not, in fact, other counties in the state are already moving forward with the different.
Some of them are gonna do all one thing.
Yeah, I did see that.
Yeah, that we can know about.
Well, they will, hold on. Several of the counties have responded to that.
Well, I know that the overall goal is to have that week for sure, so.
Mine started a little sooner, because not everybody will see it in 1 week.
No, we can start at first of November, I mean, that's up to us. I mean,
Let's find out.
Start the day after Halloween.
All right, another thing on the courthouse rents, the courthouse facilities improvement authority is in receipt of our application for the chiller system replacement. We're expecting informal notifications in early November.
Okay.
And I can stop there and we can move back to the roof situation.
You're on.
So, the Miss Kathy Mace thinks that the price is in line with inflation. And her hesitation is the same hesitation as all the commissioners, Joe and everybody.
The judges.
It's a gamble. Like Commissioner Smith pointed out, until you tear off the roof, we don't know how much sheeting. Kathy Mace stated, as all of us realize, that the weather side towards the deputy's building will be the worst part. So she is a hypothetical lady, sometimes worst case, sometimes not. But I think that she believes that the bid is good. She does not like the price per sheet, but none of us do with the way things has went up. As I reminded Ms. Mace, that is the price of taking the sheet up, taking the old sheet off, installing the new sheet, and getting rid of the old sheet. There's much more in it than going out.
But just buy a
It's
piece of.
much
Yeah,
more than buying a
it goes
piece
on
of-
the truck
Yeah,
and say,
exactly.
and call it good,
Yeah.
But
That's
she
labor.
has advised me, of course, in the budget to allow extra for the contingencies. So
And there will be some.
there will be some. We know there'll be one. We
Yeah.
know for sure there'll be one.
Oh, yeah, there always is.
But other than that, everything was there as far as the way it's spelled
Yes,
out.
she
and they
believes
accepted
with
it.
all the licensing, all the insurance, and all the other stuff looks great. She the same as us, she's hesitant about the gamble of the price per sheet.
There's nothing, and it's only gonna
Exactly.
look at the amount of materials
It's only gonna get worse.
consumed in Florida over the next
Oh,
few
my
months.
goodness, that's a very good point. It's gonna, skyrocket.
It could, yeah,
So
so,
you have that much devastation in one area,
yeah.
it usually drives up the price of per sheet.
I move we move forward with the roof project for the county jail and
$73,735.
accept the bid from Veritas in the amount of $73,735.
I will second that.
Been properly moved and seconded to accept the bid from Veritas on the Sheriff's Department roof in the amount of $73,735. Any additional discussion? Commissioner Price?
Yes.
Commissioner Smith?
Yes.
Yes. All right, thank you.
Thank you so very much. If there's any signatures required, I will get back with you all.
I don't think that there was
I
on
don't
that.
think. Thank you all so very
All right,
much.
thank you.
Have a great day and a great week.
All right, move back to the other Joe.
The other Joe. They're both the other Joes.
Joseph.
Depends on who we're talking to. Even Joe says other Joe.
you should be there for the CPB meetings that I've had where we have a third Joe
Oh,
in the office. All right, the last thing I have is that we're asked to revisit some of the outstanding requests for contributions. We had made that one round with CASA, parents as teachers, and the Preston County Camp Board. I heard recently from Your Community Foundation people who are still working with their $1 million campaign. If I have that in your packets. Neighboring in nearby counties, the standard contribution has been $10,000. Mon County bumped that up. They went 300,000. So,
They have a lot more money.
They got more money to flow.
Point out the obvious.
But as Patty Showers Ryan pointed out, if we do a minimum of $10,000 in contribution, we can dedicate those funds. So we can ensure that
They're spent Preston.
Preston County money would stay in Preston County for local uses. But I'll point out that they have, even through their COVID grants, the Preston County Caring Council, the schools, Preston County Workshop, RDBIC, United Way. They do include Preston in a lot of
Right.
their activities,
Yeah.
programs, and campaigns.
They have in the past.
So they are trying to see how close they can get to passing the goal before the end of the year. They're optimistic. They requested again that we give them some consideration.
If we do the minimum of the 10,000, since they're getting the funds matched, does that increase us to 20,000 guaranteed for Preston County?
That is a good question that I did not consider asking.
I believe that she had a mention of this, but I can't remember specifically, but I think that it was the amount of money that we put in is earmarked.
Not for that.
The matching would be,
It would be a no-brainer if it was.
Yeah. right. Now, I wouldn't be surprised that, I think that we're already getting more into the county than that. So I wouldn't be surprised if we're cooperative with this thing, that we'll get at least our money back and then more. I'm sure everybody looks at that may not be the right thought process on this, but I don't mean to sound greedy or anything. It's a little bit like the Tucker County Foundation. I mean, our people get more back than the amount of money that we give them. If they didn't, we probably wouldn't do it. That's what I
Well,
guess.
that's because the organization does a great job at
Yeah.
taking a little bit and turning it into a lot. All right.
Well, if you would like, I can bring this back to you next week. I will get in touch with Patty Showers Ryan with an answer on that question. Matching funds.
Funding source, because I'm not interested in ARPA funds, I'm not interested in CARES funds.
I don't know if we could use ARPA funds for this.
Yeah, I don't,
But for an amount that low, the
It's
amount
not,
of paperwork
it's, yeah. it's
involved for
just-
them, and
We should have that.
selfishly for me,
I believe we do.
yes. In 566 contributions, we currently have $43,908. We have still the carryover, the contingencies fund, that's sitting at 119,490. So either of those two options can meet that.
All right. Good.
I mean, if it doubles, is that going to sway you one way or the other? I mean, that's the question we have to ask. So do we want to give it? If we want to give it, and it doesn't matter one way or the other, if it does, then we can take action on it today. I mean, it definitely
It doesn't,
sweeps the
it,
deal.
it does, it would sweetens the deal, but honestly, it doesn't matter to me either way because as Dave's point has been made, we generally get more back than the airplane. So it's almost a given that we're gonna get more anyway. So it's almost like the CDB, we put such a small amount in because we don't have any hotels here, but we get so much more back.
But the desire is to just to move on with it today. The
I would want to
decision,
take it out of contributions.
the decision just has to be where the funding source would come from.
I mean, that would be my only thing, just go ahead and take it out of contributions, because you were saying there's 43,000 plus in there.
Okay. So, all right, someone wants to entertain a motion.
I would, any more discussion before I?
No.
Okay. All right, I move at this time, we contribute $10,000 to your community foundation of North Central West Virginia, and that money will be coming out of contributions.
Second.
It's been properly moved and seconded to give $10,000 from contributions to the YCF for their 1 million match campaign. Any additional discussion? Commissioner Smith?
Yes.
Commissioner Price?
Yes.
Yes. All right.
A second request that's been out there for a bit is the Maple Spring Church Family Life Center, which has been requesting funds for a shelter
Is that
generator.
13,000 or
I
what was that?
believe it's 14,500.
Did we ever find, I mean, because, like I said, did we ever find there was any grant, because I knew when
We went through,
before they got, I think out at toward Brewston, I guess it's been several years ago now, they had got money for a generator.
and
So,
between OEM and health department and the clerk's office and myself, we pretty much looked anywhere that anyone could think of on the grant situation. Even where I think it may be the Brewston one came from a federal source.
okay, I can't
That is-
remember, it's
that's
been
kind of-
several years ago, and I
yeah.
can't even remember.
And I think that has either dried up or been ended
Okay.
officially.
And it may have been through FEMA too, because it, once upon a time, but, and they may not even be eligible out there anyway, because there's already isn't the fire department already a
Mountain
center?
Grove is a similar facility.
Yeah, and it's
Um,
in that same area,
right.
so it probably would be eligible anyway, because there's already one that exists there.
Right. And with the two being in that proximity, the issue though is that there really isn't anything else
Right.
out there.
Yeah.
And they
Maybe
would be
it's-
drawing in, disasters they don't recognize county lines. So they may be getting people from southwestern Garrett County
Yeah,
up from Tucker
right.
on it, since there's really nothing in the Aurora area itself that to my knowledge, on it. They
I just like
need
to go back to its polling place, and it really,
Is it a polling?
yes.
Yes.
Well, then, we should be able to get, there should
clerk's
be.
That I
office.
The
did
clerk's-
talk
they-
to, I
they
talked to
should-
Linda about,
Yeah, there should be, because with emergency, because it should be an emergency backup just for that.
Well, it didn't work that way in,
Mhm.
when we had Superstorm Sandy. FEMA came through with some help on some of those things, but that was only because it was an emergency.
Well, but that was after the fact too. I mean, that was,
Yeah.
the storm had already happened. This is setting up prior to,
yes, it just seems to be harder to get funding to be prepared
Sure.
than
Is that
being
something?
reactive.
The only thing, if you don't mind, before we're voting this, if we can hold off a week, could you check with the Secretary of State's office just to see? I mean, I'm just curious, you know what I mean? To see, even if they can just give us a little bit, Because I mean, it never hurts to ask, because we don't ask, the answer is no. So, I mean, let them tell us no. You know, I mean, my opinion.
That's fine. I'm good with that.
Yeah. I just
I
wanted
think
to
it's a
see.
good
if there's
cause,
something-
and I think that they've spent thousands of dollars to have the kids.
No, I agree with you, David.
And
If there's some
everything.
other money out
Let's
there.
find out if there's
That's what I'm saying.
some
And
money.
if we don't ask, then we'll never know.
I'm good with that. If there is, that's great. If there isn't.
There is
still
something there,
okay
like I
with it.
said, through Secretary of State's office, they can find, because it is, like I said, it's a polling place, so, you know, hey.
Well, could we just move forward with, up to 14.5? And if there is funding available from the Secretary of State's office, it would offset the cost?
I mean, we can
And
just
we've
do it
been
next
putting it on.
week. I mean, that way we get an answer, because we'll have an answer by next week, and then we can do it. Instead of making it contingent and all that, I'd just rather just make a firm, you know, one way or the other, you know, be done with it.
I don't think you'll get an answer, but that's okay. Next week we can vote on it and
I mean,
Approve
they
it
could,
either
but
way.
if we don't ask, we're never
I
gonna.
understand.
Is there any other places that we want Joe to look for money for this,
I
other than the
can't-
Secretary of State's office? I thought we got to that the last time we talked about it, but Secretary of State's office is,
Yeah.
anything else? Anything else? Any other places we wanna look?
We've already checked with, you know.
We've already checked with the other ones, so
Our,
that was the only one. I had.
folks at emergency management are really
Yeah.
keen on
Mhm.
grants.
Yeah, and I will point out that Justin Wolf on his own time is dealing with a similar situation
Did Linda
For the
already
church.
check
out in Cranesville.
with the
Yes.
Secretary of State's office?
I don't know where she's gone with that.
I know.
Okay, because that
So-
might have been somewhere she already checked. That's
So
Yeah,
fine.
if she did, that's fine, but I just wanna know.
So, but I've had, Justin has been looking for a generator for the Methodist Church out in Cranesville for similar reasons. So he has been looking on his own time. We
Mhm.
benefited from him doing a lot of legwork
Right.
on this as well.
Yeah.
All right,
Well, it's a little different there because it's not a polling place.
No, yeah.
But there will be shelter-ready places who will request generator assistance. And so that just, we need to be prepared for that. And so that's all. Next week we'll do it.
next.
The one thing I will point out on that request is that we've not received any kind of ARPA requests for the Aurora area. CARES, it's been just the ambulance.
Right.
So geographically speaking, this is.
Good to point that out.
All right. The only other outstanding request is the Preston County Historical Society, which you remember was asking for funds for repointing History House in Terra Alta. And their grant application was not accepted. So that kind of threw things into limbo. They have reached out and said that if we were to do a commitment of their request, $10,000, that they would be able to more easily go for new grant funding.
So they're wanting the $10,000 to use as a match on additional grants?
Yes.
That's what it sounds like, yeah.
It's gonna cost more than 10,000. So it would be a commitment
Mhm.
to that, not necessarily I mean, I understand.
So have they put in, do they have applications ready for additional grants?
Not that I have been told.
I mean, normally when you put in a grant application, you know what the match requirement is going
right.
into it, so.
Right.
So I think they just want things to be a little easier for their process, if they know that they have some kind of commitment.
What was the total amount of that? Do you remember? They've talked to us for 2 or 3 years about it. You need to see.
If I recall in the original application, they were saying it was going to be something in the 50,000
That's
range.
what I was thinking
And-
too, in the 50
And
to
we
60
assumed that
range.
it was going to be something higher.
Higher
than
than
that.
Does that fix the actual issues of, in the entirety of the issues of the building, of the structure?
Redoing the bricks,
So a lot of
Would be
seepage
pretty
that
much
comes
it.
in from the weather on the west side. There we go again. The west side is the worst. So I was there and I looked at it. I mean, it's an old building,
This is unbelievable.
but there's a lot of valuable stuff in there. I just, it's strange that they haven't been able to get some kind of grants because of what's in it.
it is an interesting question on that. I would suggest perhaps that we just maybe keep that amount in the account. We know that it's going to be there, and if the Historical
If
Society
they find
finds a grant,
Yeah.
they feel like they are.
I don't have a problem with that.
They may have
can
a
make
make
some
some
sort
sort
of-
of way with it. They need to do.
Right.
You know, that we can, we can discuss it.
I think they will figure
I
out.
think certainly any organization like that that is seeking grant funds, I mean, we've had Arthur Dale come before and ask for, matching money, Parks and Rec,
Parks
asking
and
for
Rec.
matching money.
Yep.
And so I think when we get to that point, to just say, we're gonna commit that to the History House only, we've got a lot of organizations. So if they're seeking grants and there's money that they're needing for matching dollars, get the grant ready to go, say, come to before the commission, present what they're needing, and
Yeah.
then we'll see what we've got.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, because that's what we've done. in the past.
I think they did
Parks
that.
and Rec,
But
they had the grant already out there,
Yeah.
already submitted, and they basically came back and said, look, we gotta have $20,000 real quick because we're getting this $200-something. It's like, okay. But they had already done, they just needed that match part to get it.
all right,
And that's it for the requests.
okay,
And I think that's it for me.
all right. Do you have anything else?
yeah, I want to I think that we need to get the folks together on the dilapidated building
Oh, yes.
ordinance
Mhm.
and
Get that inventory
that.
together.
And I know that the towns that need to be aware that there's money that surely will be forthcoming in this next round of dilapidated building grants, so they need to get their list of houses and buildings together. That's my message to the towns. But- And we'll find out who's still available. I know the chairman of that group, Joe, is next door to you at the health department.
Well, and not only that, but I mean, is that something Jay should have a list of things around the county?
He has some that have been on the list and letters sent from when the cleanup beautification group was together all the time. Then we went into the ordinance and we've got those people that are willing, but haven't been called to order yet.
Okay.
And so I'd just like to get that going, notify all of them and set up a meeting.
We've got to have the list when applications go out and funding, it
Gotta have
really
the
appears after relooking through that list that, those are really municipalities that were awarded funding. And so I'm sure that
I
that was.
think the big mission, a part of our mission would be to determine from Jay, because we can identify our own if we want to. If everybody's driving on the way home and they see something that looks dangerous or a threat to, in some way, or if somebody lives beside a structure that is causing them trouble, or might catch on fire, or that the drug dealers are using, or that the rodents are a problem. You know,
Well, I think if you take a step back and look at the county as a whole, a lot of the dilapidated buildings are within municipalities. We need to
Absolutely.
identify if the municipalities have an ordinance already, and if they don't, then that falls on the county.
And that's what I'm saying is part of the job, I believe, this beautification group is to look at it, see what the issues are, and make sure that we have communication with the towns.
Well, a lot of times, some of these municipalities don't have the resources or have never done anything with their ordinance to move forward because of the funding. So we really need to get a couple answers to some big ticket questions so that we can help them in moving forward with their ordinances and maybe seek some of this funding that's coming in.
Right.
Because sometimes with the way they turn over, leadership turns over in our municipalities, you know, sometimes it's like starting from scratch over and over and over. And we just need to make sure that they're educated on what they need to know to get some of that funding. Because if it's in the municipality, then they're the ones that need to go after the funding for it. We can go after funding only on counties, but I think within Preston County, our issues are
Majority of the
within
issues are in the county.
municipalities.
That's been discussed forever, that's where the problem is, but, you know,
But there's
we
still.
need to assist them somehow in,
Well, there's still buildings, I mean, obviously, that are not in municipalities, I mean, I've seen them.
right, well,
So we need to.
if you have seen them, then I would like for anybody who sees those that are a problem,
That's not.
to turn them in.
File the complaint.
File a complaint.
That initiates the work of the committee.
Right.
So, okay.
That's all. But in the towns, that's where a lot of our issues are, and
And I think, you know, we talked about it before, I've advocated for it before. I believe we need to have meetings with our municipalities to get on, you know, the same page on many topics that are similar to this. And if we can't do that, then we're not serving anywhere because they're bound by certain rules. We've got certain things we go by, but we need to make sure that everybody's doing what they need to do because we can't do things within the municipality as the county, but we can assist. We
can
can,
help, and
we
that's
can
what they
get
need, yeah.
we can get those done. So you know, we've got a couple big things that we're working through right now with Amendment 2 and some different things. Of course, you have reached out to all the municipalities and have you had luck with getting correspondence?
I've heard back from one.
Okay, maybe another round of emails and even a good old fashioned phone call to really touch base with them. It's too important of a matter for these organizations, for the fire departments, for the other people that have skin in the game, so to speak, with this, that we need to really get touch base with. October 20th is coming quickly, and so we need to do that.
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
Have you provided your Facebook page information to Jonathan Adler to provide as a source of information to go out to the public?
Have we provided him our
Yes.
Facebook?
Yes, we have.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
All right. Okay, all right. Anything else on that, on the dilapidated building stuff?
No, other than we have what's needed in place for outside the communities, and if they want to use ours, I really hope that they make that an important part of what they've got to do.
Sure.
The only other thing, chamber dinner is Thursday night.
It is Thursday night, yes.
Oh.
Are you going?
Yes.
Are you going?
Yeah.
All right, I'm going.
Are you?
It'll be tight. I've got to come back from Charleston that day, but I'll be there. All right. Anything from you, Commissioner Smith?
I was gonna mention the chamber dinner, they've already done it, so I don't have to worry about that. That was really it.
Okay. I put check marks as we've just been having our discussion of things I had topics to discuss. You know, again, Amendment 2, advertisement that needs to go out in the paper. I'm getting a lot of people that are saying they've heard what it is, where it's at, what is it. So that advertisement needs to go out. I'm pretty sure we need to get it in the newspapers and everywhere that it needs to be, on radio. And are you still speaking in Taunton tonight?
Mhm.
And to what group are you addressing?
Duffel Thompson. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
just the town of Tunnelton?
And I'm not talking about just Amendment 2, I'm talking about all the amendments.
Okay.
Because they just wanted information about each one of the amendments and what it entails, and that's all I'm doing.
Okay,
I'm not presenting a for or against whatever, I'm just saying.
well,
here's what
maybe
it is.
extend that also, that invitation to that group. for-
Oh, I
for
will.
the-
I've done that with when I've talked to other groups too. Yeah, I've told them about this one coming up. And it's at 6:30, correct? That's when it starts?
Yes,
Did you say up with Tunnelton Creek?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
They meet at the school, right?
Yeah, the high school, yep. Yeah, the old high school. Uh-huh.
all right. As far as Amendment 2 things go, is there anything else that we need to know as far as people that you've reached out to with our state elected officials and?
The state elected officials, I've heard back from 2 of them. Fire department, we are getting invitations out specifically to them as well. Those are going out this afternoon.
Anything from the Board of Education?
I went to the Board of Education meeting. I did not have a chance to discuss with them. I have been in contact with Mr. Martin, the superintendent, about the issue. I told him I would get back with him after yesterday's meeting to see where things would be on that.
All right, well, we've checked everything else off. I had YCF, Maple Springs, Green Light, Amendment 2, and so that covers everything I believe that I have on my list for discussion.
Who are going to be your speakers on the 20th? Again, do you have this lined up?
We have some of them lined up. We have Jonathan Adler, he's with the West Virginia Association of Counties. He's speaking on behalf of them and also the County Commissioners Association of West Virginia, both organizations in which we belong to. And they are really our voice in Charleston.
That's the only confirmed one, so.
That is confirmed, and
And Senator Eric Tarr, the chairman of the Senate Finance Committee, has given his commitment to attend as well.
then also Connie will be,
Okay, that is on the 20th.
yes.
Senator.
Do we have the
Where
figures
is
yet? Do you have the figures yet that we're working toward?
Not yet, not yet.
Senator Tarr is pro, right?
He is.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, it's just a balanced.
Yeah.
Just to, I mean,
I
because the
see
purpose
his
of this,
videos
we are not
everywhere.
for it, but we've got to have some sort of education, of it to, we've heard Senator Tarr.
Mhm.
It doesn't change my opinion that this is rushed. It's not ready yet.
Is he one of like the forefronts on that?
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
so.
Mhm.
His
So,
videos.
I mean, I'll be very honest with you about it. I heard a radio advertisement that came through over the weekend and I was disgusted. I just turned the radio off
Well,
because they're saying, you want your car taxes removed? That's the radio advertisement. Well, who wouldn't? I mean, let's be real about that. Who wouldn't?
Like the video you sent me, Connie, where they do the flashback on how Jim Justice said, 4 years ago, that removing business inventory tax would be a good thing, but they mentioned nothing about personal property.
Right.
Right.
But
And so-
again, I think those numbers would go a long way, even writing the story
Yeah.
to say, these are who's coming, this is potential impact that might
I've
be people
read,
go,
I mean,
wow.
honestly, I read an article, an economics professor out of WU, close to 30 years ago, basically said that business inventory tax was a horrible tax, that something needed to be done about it then. That was 30 years ago.
Greatly outdated.
No one
There was a-
disagrees that it's a bad tax. The problem is, how do you fix it? How do you replace it?
What's the guarantee of it? And why
That's
does
the
it,
problem.
why does it take that, removal of that to
Yeah,
fix it? I don't think it does. I think it's just they're gonna write that,
Well, maybe,
You're right.
and the other
That's not
thing
what
is
it takes.
that,
Tacking the personal property on, that's just,
that's how they get it passed.
yeah.
That's their.
that's how they're going to if they didn't run one ad, because it's worded such that
That's hard
Enough
to
people
say
would-
bait and switch tactics.
Yeah. To get back to your question on the numbers and things, they had, come out with, some figures in a book, but the figures weren't
That's what you'd say.
correct.
Yeah, they want-
And so do you have our actual figures, that we can provide to Kathy?
I can send you an email.
Yeah, because I know we do have our actual totals, but what was published in the stuff that Senator Tar handed out haphazardly at that meeting, all the commissioners, was that he really took a,
Yeah, and
Well,
Tanya, do you have those by the county, by the Board of Education, by the fire levy, and by each municipality?
No, I just have totals.
Just the overall total.
But that, I mean, it means a lot more if I'm in Kingwood and I think I'm gonna lose 100,000.
No, I agree with you.
Or if I'm in
Yeah.
Hamilton, but I'm only losing 5.
I haven't had a chance to work on it, actually, if you want to know the honest truth.
It's okay, I work 30 days without a day off, I understand, but to do the story right, I need the information, so send me what you have.
I will when I get it.
all right.
That's an important part of our pitch, is if we go to 12 fire departments and say, this is what the county fire association could lose if it's not made up.
Well, there's a percentage, that, it's just a percentage that you take off of the county. But as far as the municipalities, it would have to be broken down 20 to 50 different ones.
There's 10 minutes.
10, yeah.
All right. Again, Civic Center, 6:30, October 20th. And,
I had the 30th on my calendar.
oh goodness, no, the 20th,
The 20th.
the 20th. Yes, the 20th. All right, anything else? All right, this meeting is adjourned. Thank you. Joe, I have a question for you on this.
How are you?
Sore.
You play ball, no?